Now I've already done those down here. Let me show you how I did that. I was using a little bit of the black. You've got to be very careful with this. But as you've got a cushion of green underneath, it just ends up to be dark green rather than black. A little bit there. And a little bit there. See how feather-like the touch is? A little bit there. Now, I don't think I want any in there, do I? Yes, just a little bit there. Just a smidgen. Like that. Now, you then use your green, which is your 174, just to smooth that in, like that. You could use a blender here, but I prefer not to. I prefer to use a pencil if I can. Look at it, it looks nicer. Now, once that's done, you then need to go over the whole thing with 170, very lightly. What I'm actually doing is getting rid of the spines. Now, they've done their job. They've given me the segregation and separation of the different parts. So now what we've got to do is use a little bit of lemon yellow and just pick up here and there some light areas. Now these can be as many or as few as you want, but I think I'll leave it at that. Well, just a little bit maybe down on this edge. Like that. And here I can emphasize the shadow that's across there. And then I can just use a little bit of lemon yellow on that edge. Oh, pretty, Colin. Pretty. I like it so much, I'm going to do this side as well. Oh, lovely. Lovely. And it's a little bit of where the light hits the dark is a good idea. And I'm pretty happy with that. Just a little bit more, perhaps on the edge of there, as it hits the dark. And okay. Now then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it round. I'll do this one for you here. And what I'm doing, I'm going to go over the spine again, but this time with a lot more care than before. See that? Let's do this one over here. This is a difficult one. Just here. And let them tail off, disappear. Like that. It goes without saying you need sharp pencils for this. Ah, that's looking pretty, very pretty. I'll finish it all off and we'll start the background. We'll start the background sequence using a warm grey. Could use a cool grey here too. It wouldn't matter an awful lot, but I happen to know the 270 earth grey is a particularly good blender, or to blend into. There we are. That's it. Now, that is all blended in. Now, you don't worry too much about touching the edges of the tree trunk, but you don't particularly want to do too much damage to them. So what I do with the leaves is I use a clean colour shaper or paper blender to get in there, because you're not going to get your finger in there. Get as much as you can, do as much as you can, but that's lovely. Now on top of that, you don't want to mess about too much, so I'm going to be putting some ochre in. And some some green. I'm going to use the dark green initially because I want to get dark to the dark colour as quickly as possible. That is rubbed in like that, all over. Okay. Right, well that's the ochre, and you see how that works out, some ochre and some green there. Now I'm going to completely ruin that now by putting in some more green. A good dose of it now, because I'm going to put some black on top of that. Just a bit. Like that. If you feel a bit brave, you can also put a bit of brown in as well. I'll leave that to you. But you've got to make it dark, and it's got to go right close now. This is where it's scary, isn't it? Oh dear, 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 dear. You're going to get out of that coal. No. Now I suggest that if you're in any way unsure of this, don't do it. It's a tree stump alone, or just leave it like that with a little bit of green around it. But I like to go mad. I like to have a real nice colour. You'll see the difference when I finish this. It looks nothing at the moment, but my goodness, when it's finished. Anyway, that's basically what you do, so I won't bore you anymore. You go around the whole thing with that. Be careful when you get down there. A little bit of green, a little bit of black over the top, and then I'll take you to the final phase later on.